Another big game in the league phase of the Champions League. Another big game against an Italian team, no less. This time it will be Inter. But before that, we play against Ipswich in a game that hopefully will go more towards us continuing to keep our stronger hold on the Premier League as it stands at the moment. There's a 4-point gap with a game in hand. What's not to love about that? Hello there, how you doing? Welcome to part number 13 of Club 4 of the MyCareer save here on Football Manager with our current club, Arsenal. My name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video. We're going to be playing those two aforementioned games. Ipswich is first at home, followed by a San Siro visit to Inter Milan. Out of the two of them, there's one of them I'm a little bit more worried about than the other. But if you're excited to see how we get on with both of those games, simple enough, leave a like on the video for me and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content coming out from this space right here in the future. And all the nonsense that comes out of it as well. So since you were last with us, how have things been? They've been pretty good, to be honest with you. The battering of Juventus is still a fantastic result. Since then, Leeds, good result there, 4-2 coming off of that. So, I mean, yes, we conceded 2 goals. Leeds having a very good season though, so that's not too bad. Bit of squeaky bum time against Bournemouth, 3-2. We were absolutely just... Wow, it felt like we were flying against them, but we just kept getting pegged back, but we did end up getting over the line. Then we beat Brighton 4-3, again, another tight one. Absolutely just trounced Dortmund 3-0, that was lovely. Then West Ham 5-0, then Villa 2-0, then Prague 4-0. Then a draw against Wolverhampton Wanderers, then we beat Manchester United 2-0. So things are going quite well. Daniel Pitchford is an interesting one. I was tentatively hopeful that after the Juventus game maybe we'd cured him. What I've discovered is he doesn't like scoring in the Premier League. Champions League game there, scored a couple of goals. Didn't score in the Premier League. Scored 2 goals in the Carabao Cup. Didn't score in the Premier League there. He did score 2 goals against Dortmund, then didn't score there in the Premier League, then didn't score there in the Premier League, then scored in the Champions League, then hasn't scored in his last 2 Premier League games. I don't know what it is. He loves any competition that's not the Premier League, apparently. As a result of that, his goal scoring in the Premier League looks absolutely woeful. I mean, Bukayo Saka is our top goal scorer. Daniel Pitchford is not even on the list. Conrado Villalba with 8 goals has been, because every time he's played badly in the Premier League, Daniel Pitchford, Villalba's come on and more or less spared his blushes. So, I mean, if we even go back to here, Villalba gets a goal here. He's getting some assists as well, Villalba. Didn't score against Brighton, I don't think. No, he did not. Did score twice against West Ham. Scored once against Villa. Didn't score against Wolves, but did score against Manchester United. So I don't know what the solution is. Also, we had a bit of a rough period for... Apologies, had a knock at the door. Noah Darvic. We had a bit of an issue with him. At the moment, the way I've solved that is by having him as a playmaker as well. I don't necessarily know whether that's the right thing to do. I don't really like having 2 advanced playmakers there. However, I don't want to change Shotquist from an advanced playmaker because he's been pretty good in that role. The only other thing I'm thinking about with Darvic is changing him to centre mid on attack. Do you know what? I might give that a go in this game, just see how it goes. But he played very well as the attacking advanced playmaker against Manchester United. So, you know, maybe that's the thing. What I am also going to do in this next game against Ipswich, there's no excuse against Ipswich, who, by the way, are currently in 16th. There's no excuse for Pitchford not to have a good game. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to have a good game, but Villalba is there just in case. And if it's not a good game, Pitchford won't start against Inter. It's as simple as that. But anyway, let's move on to the actual game and let's get underway. Our 11 for the game against Ipswich in the Premier League is as follows. Augusto Aduro is going to be our starting goalkeeper, followed by Kadioglu, Armstrong, Harto and Catanano in defence. Then we've got Gavi, Shotquist and Darvic as the central midfield 3. And Saka and Tell are going to support Pitchford up front. Injury-wise, we have got a couple. Ruggieri is out for up to 3 months. That's a big one. It does mean Catanano now has to get some game time. He's not played well recently. I've changed him to a fullback on support in the hope that maybe we get a bit more out of him in that role. But it's been a bit rough going just to try and work out how to get the best out of him because he is a good defender. But maybe I need to focus on the fact that he's more of a defender than he is a kind of attacking-minded defender. And then the other injury is Martinelli, who is back, but he's not fully fit. I'm not putting him on the bench with that low level of fitness. It's just not going to happen. So that's the 11 we're going to go with. Let's see whether we can get 3 points from the game. Watching us play has been quite fun. I'm quite happy with going back to the 4-3-3. I know in the last episode I'd moved back to the 4-3-3 from the 4-2-3 when we started the season with. That 4-2-3-1, on paper it was great, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether maybe we went back to it and played it with a half-back, whether it would work, because the half-back definitely, I think, has helped, although Gavi was the wrong choice for it. I'm going to talk a little bit about what my plans are for January at the moment. Gavi is currently wanted by a Saudi club. Is it a Saudi club? It was a Saudi club, and then they got uninterested. No, it's recently Real Madrid who are interested in, funnily enough. So if they make an offer for him and he wants to go, we've just won a penalty, by the way, then I'm all over that. I'm absolutely happy to let him leave for a decent fee, because if we can get him gone, then I can spend that money on, bear with me on this, another central defender, because then I can move George Armstrong to central defensive midfield, which is where his best star rating is. I have used him a couple of times as well. He's not been terrible there, only for like the last kind of quarter of a game here and there, but he's not looked bad in those particular instances. Saka's just scored a penalty, by the way. It is 1-0 inside 4 minutes. Happy days. So that is kind of the tentative plan. Gavi really was just a case of he was available and I chased him at Wolves. And perhaps maybe I let myself get a little bit carried away with that. So I'm happy to move him on just to get someone else in. Have I got anyone in mind? I mean, I've had a quick look around at what we've scouted already. I've not identified anyone specifically. It's kind of a moot point unless we actually get some funds in now. Michael Shock. I tell you what, the formation change has been a success, if for no other reason than for the fact that he is just looking like the Michael Shock we knew at Wolves. Can he run with the ball very well? Not really. Is he finishing all that? Not really. Is his long shots all that? Not really. But he can still just do some magic. He's just got a bit of magic about him, and that is a stunning strike. 2-0 inside 7 minutes. More of the same, please, lad. More of the same. I think he scored twice last time as well in the last video. So he's the opposite of camera shy. He very much likes getting involved in front of the camera. I'd quite like Pitchford to start doing that, if that's quite okay with him. I'd like him to score some Premier League goals, because at the moment he's just a cut striker, which is fine. If we end up coming to the conclusion that he is just a cup striker, the lad will start in the Premier League. He'll start in all the cup competitions. I've got no issue with that whatsoever, because there's something apparently about the way that teams play in the Premier League that Daniel Pitchford just doesn't like, and I can't quite work out what it is. I don't know. I can't think of what it is, because it's not like it's been small teams that we've played against in the Champions League. We've played against some pretty good teams. Darvic unlucky there. Darvic having a good game at centre mid on attack. Maybe that's the solution, or maybe I just don't jump to conclusions after one game. But Mazzala was not working after a stretch of games for him, so I'm not too unhappy with changing it to something and giving it a go. So maybe we'll consistently give the centre mid on attack a go if he has another good performance in this one. If he gets back up to a 7 and maintains a 7, maybe we'll continue with that. Right, another set piece here. It's going to be another free kick. It's Darvic to take. I'd love this to go to top bins. I really would. It nearly did. It very nearly did. Bukayo Saka puts it in the back of the net. It's not offside. It's 2 goals for Saka. It's 3-0. Walking all over Ipswich, as indeed we should be. Now, my big concern is, can we keep a clean sheet? I'd like to think we can. Very unlucky there for Noah Darvic. He won't get the assist, but he will, in my mind, be very, very crucial to that goal going in, which is very, very good to see. And there's a few fitness things that I'm kind of not concerned about, but I am going to be making some changes at half-time regardless of how things are going, just for fitness. The main one is when I take Gavi off and bring on... I get the two of them mixed up. Is it Marcotta or is it the other one? I've got the two young... Yeah, it's Marcotta. I shouldn't have doubted myself. Bring Marcotta on, because Marcotta has not long come back from an injury as the other holding midfielder, and we really do need to get him a bit more game time just to get him back up. By the way, Tokic threw a bit of a wobbly about not playing. He's very much become my starting right back out of necessity, but he's actually been all right. He's gone up to a 2.5-star wing back on support, whereas at the beginning of the season he was a 2-star player in that particular role. So it's good to see him actually improving and getting better. Very happy with that. I might bring him on at half-time, to be fair, although I don't need to give him experience. Well, I do need to give him experience, but I don't need to give him game time because he's had plenty. So him missing a game isn't going to hurt him too much. Shockwish just getting the ball. Looking for Pitchford, can't find it, but it ends up with Saka here. Saka looking to whip it in. Tell's going to get on the end of it. Floats over. Pitchford can't quite get there, but it is going to be a corner. Pitchford's been like working hard in this game, but his finishing's not been there. What I might do is, if he's still at a half decent rating at half time without a goal, I might give him a second half as an advance forward and just see whether we can get something more out of him, because he's not looked bad today, but he hasn't looked what we kind of need from him, if that makes sense. So I mean, 6.7, I think that's enough to keep him on the pitch. So we'll say that. I am going to have a word with him now and just say I'm not happy with him, and then I'm just going to change his role. And we'll give him so long, and then we'll take him off if we need to. He's a tough one to crack. Again, the problem with Pitchford is, okay, 3 goals in 14 Premier League games is awful, but he scored 6 in 5 in the Champions League, 2 in 2 in the FA Cup, and an assist. Like, his overall record is decent. It's not great, but it's decent. And he's got to 22 goals quicker here than he did at Brighton. And a lot quicker than he got to a similar number at Watford as well. So, I mean, you know, it's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one because there's a good player in there. He's just a really, really tough nut to crack. It really is. It just feels like, I don't know if it feels like he's not making the right decisions. His off the ball's good enough, though. But he just feels like he's not making the right decisions. So, we'll give him advanced forward. I mean, do we even give him pressing forward, maybe? Maybe we mix things up even more. What's pressing forward look like? So, finishing, his aggression and his bravery are not that great. Maybe that's what's holding him back, his aggression and his bravery, because he's not getting stuck in enough stuff. But let's just give it a go. Let's see what happens. We'll give it until maybe the 60th, 70th minute, and then we'll bring on Villalba. We're up by enough goals that we can afford to kind of mess around a little bit. Well, we'll tell those two that can do better. Tell Gavi he's doing okay. We'll tell Kadioglu he's doing okay. Oh, and then there's actually changes I wanted to make as well. Yes, Marcotta being one of them. On will come him for Gavi. I'll take off... Yavuz really needs some game time. Tell you what, let's give Noah Darvic a rest. Bit more game time for Miran Yavuz. We'll make him... Keep him a centre mid on attack, actually. I'm not training him as that, but let's keep him on that. And then I probably should bring on Waneri. Bring you on for Methistel. Don't really want to take off Saka when he's on a good game. Right, let's go with that. That feels good enough. And let's see what we can do in the second half. Hopefully enough to make me happy with Pitchford again. I don't think I've ever really played Pitchford as a pressing forward, so I don't know how it will work. It might not work at all. He's dropped down to a 6.6 straight away, so that's probably not a good sign. But it's just a matter of giving something else a go when everything else doesn't seem to be working consistently. I don't mind if he misses a couple of games without scoring, but it's just weird that he's got this seemingly got this pattern of just not being able to score in the league. And I thought he'd done it then. I actually thought for a second we might have cracked the code there, because that through ball was fantastic, and then his shot does get saved, which is a bit unfortunate. Right, corner coming in. It's a short one to Kadioglu. Ends up being absolutely nothing to it, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm going to demand more from the boys. I want to see a little bit more. That chance from Pitchford has kind of almost convinced me to keep him on the pitch, but it's not happening. He's had his chance. He's coming off. Villalba comes on. And... I've got one more change. I'll save that one more change for now. We'll bring on Villalba. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Villalba score now. It really wouldn't surprise me. I think the next time we play Pitchford, I might start him as an advance forward again, because it's between advance forward and complete forward as to which one. There's something in the middle of those that's his actual best position or best role, and we just haven't quite cracked it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. At this point, if someone came in with a boatload of money for him in January, I'd think about it, because he has been a disappointment this season, to be honest. He has been a disappointment. If Laskowski was on the bench, I'd bring him on, but I can't because he's not there. So I'll tell you what, for my final trick, it's going to be Shockquist or Saka. Saka's on a hat-trick. It's not going to be him. Paniagua can come on for Shockquist for the final few minutes. He's now a 4-star playmaker, by the way, Paniagua, which is great to see. I'm not too sure what to go with Inter in terms of the attacking midfield role. So centre mid on attack or playmaker on attack. I'm not too sure. I thought Villalba had scored then. It ended up being Armstrong. It might be offside though. We're going to wait and see whether the hands go up. I'm just trying to judge it. Hands have gone up. It's a goal. 4-0. Take that all day long. Saka with the assist as well. Didn't get his hat-trick from the looks of things. Only got a couple of minutes left, but does get an assist. Villalba was right behind it as well, so very much could have got a goal, Villalba. There's still a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to happen. Although we have another corner. Whipped in. Looking for Armstrong. Can't find him. Going to come to Paniagua. Goes back to Kadioglu. Someone else who could leave because he did want to leave at the end of the transfer window in the summer, so he might move on. We might need to bring in another right back. Right, Waneri gets tackled. He's going to get the ball back though. Waneri looking for the run. No, gets into Paniagua. Paniagua's gone for an absolute world. He does not get it in, but good enough effort. Quite happy for him to have the go. That is going to be full time, I imagine. Yes, maybe. Yes, it is. There we go. Good for burp. Trapped in, no apologies. Right, well, that's absolutely fine. That's exactly what we wanted. Not a terrible performance by Daniel Pitchford, but a bit anonymous. I've got a bit of a tricky one now because, as you've seen, the next game being in the Champions League would normally be where he would come good. But I don't know whether I want to risk it because, you know, that league form has been atrocious and he's on the 6.68. He's also very heavy loads, so I think actually I'm going to make the change. Start with Villalba because I think Villalba will be better from a counter-attacking point of view anyway, and he does need the game time, so let's give him the game time. Let's do that. Can't really change these guys. I am going to have to take Vigeri out of here though, but Martinelli can come back in. Right, I'll finish getting everything set up for the game. By the way, shout out to Catanano, starting full back on support, got a 7.9 rating. I mean, again, it's against Ipswich. No offence, Ipswich fans, but you know what I mean. What do we do with Darvic? Do we start him as centre mid on attack or advanced playmaker on attack? He had a better rating against Manchester United, so that makes me think he got more involved against a team who are better than Ipswich. So I think for the next game, we go with what worked against Man United. Let's just give it a go. No modifiers on there. I'll have a think about Pitchford. I still don't know for a fact what I'm going to do. At the moment, Villalba gets the nod. But I might just go with recent form, and I might just go with Pitchford as a result of his cup exploits. I'll be back in a moment with a decision, and so we get on against Inter Milan. So the last time we checked the Italian league when we played Juventus, Inter were top of the league. They're not anymore, actually. It's ended up being Napoli who've taken over. So, yeah, obviously Inter not having the best of seasons. Not a bad season, but they were on top. Now they're not. So it's obviously not going quite as well as they were hoping it would. But that's neither here nor there. This is the 11 that we're hoping is going to take us through to winning against Inter. Now, I'm gonna stick with Daniel Pitchford just because you've seen the results. Cup games are his speciality, so let's just give him the chance and see. But this is the 11 now. I've made that change. It is going to be a Wusso Oduro in goal. It's not going to be Kadioglu. I'm going to start Tokic actually. It's going to be Tokic, Armstrong, Harto and Catanano in defence. Gavi, Shoquist and Darvic in the middle, with Saka and Tell supporting Pitchford up front. I could regret starting Pitchford. Equally, I could have just done an absolutely genius thing and started someone based on their kind of cup form. We need to figure out how to get him scoring in the league, obviously, but, you know, I'll take it. What I am going to do is I'm going to have a private word with him and tell him that I trust him to make the difference. Right. Champions League. We'll obviously go over the Premier League properly and the Champions League properly after this game. You'll see the table on this side. As you can see at the moment, though, we are doing rather well. If we win this game, we should end up going top. So let's see whether we can do that. We are away from home, of course. It is the San Siro. It's a very difficult stadium to come to. I'm getting the excuses out of the way early on because I feel like this one might be a bit of a struggle. Ardagula, we know how good he is from our Deportivo save. He did get the ball there. We end up clearing it to absolutely no one, which is a bit disappointing. Bastoni now to Urbano. Urbano going wide. Needs to get the ball off of him as quickly as possible. Saka does a really good job. Looking to get to Pitchford, can't quite get there. Are we going to get the ball back here, or are we going to let them have an attack? We're going to let them have an attack here. Zilli is in. and somehow it's not 1-0 to Inter. I don't quite know how, but we've gotten away with one there. We genuinely have done. Right, I'm going to encourage the boys. We've had a couple of chances, which is good. Bit more momentum going our way. Let's just see if we can build on that and get a little bit more heading in our direction. I would take a draw in this game. We don't necessarily need to win it. We've had a good enough start, and we've got some less than difficult games coming up very soon that I would take a draw in this one, but I would also kind of like us to win. I'm going to make the change to advanced forward that I was threatening to do with Daniel Pitchford, and let's just see whether that can make any difference. I don't think it will. I think we are going to end up bringing Villalba on, but I don't think I'm going to do it at half time. I'm going to give Pitchford a bit of time, but that is half time at 0-0. I'm going to say that one. I'm going to go with that one. Right. Let's have a word with the front three. None of them really clicking to what we would like to see from them. Darvic and Shotquist not really doing a lot, so I'm going to say the same to them. Gavi, I'm going to say the same to him. Tokic actually has not done a good job at all, so let's try and motivate him. And what I am going to do as well, just because I'm aware that our strength is that midfield three, we're going to play through the middle, and we're just going to see whether that can do anything for us. I'm just going to check on the opposition. Have they made any changes? No. No, they haven't. Their best players are actually their defensive midfielder. We're going to press him then. And their left back rather, Urbano, who, do you know what? I'm going to go in hard on him. Let's just try and disrupt him a little bit. Right, second half. Let's get underway. And let's see whether we can get a bit of an edge against them and see if we can try and nick a goal just to win the game. I'd like to win the game, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like I didn't want to win the game before, but I would very much like us to give it a good go. But if we end up with a draw, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We've started the second half quite well. Can't imagine we'll maintain now. I imagine Inter will come back into it. But let's just see what we can do. We're trying to play through the middle again, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can get anything going with the two playmakers. I think I'm going to actually change Darvic to centre mid on attack, so he's got a bit more licence to get forward. I'm going to fire the boys up. I'm going to make a change in a moment, because the front three have not really done much at all in this game. Gavi's ended up having a decent performance. Right, let's make that change of the front three. Pitchford is off. Villalba is on. Martinelli's going to come on as well. And I'm going to bring on... I'm going to bring on Waneri because he's been complaining about not getting game time. I'll get the words out eventually. So I'll make that triple change. Darvic was having a good game. He's actually dropped down since I made that change, so actually that was a really silly decision. So I'm going to bring on Yavuz, and he can he's already got to a 2-star rating, as you can see, so he's definitely getting there with the training. And Tokic has had a poor game as well, so Kadioglu is going to come on too, and that will complete the substitutions. Mass substitutions, just to see if we can get a mad 10 minutes where we can just try and get over the line. I don't know whether it's going to be possible. Again, a draw is fine. Away from home, a draw at the San Siro, I'm not going to sniff at that. I'm not going to sniff at that at all. But I wonder whether we'd have made some of those changes and not started with certain players. Would it have made a difference? Would it have made a difference if we started with Villalba? It's been a poor performance from Tokic. Would it have made a difference if we'd started with Kadioglu? Urbano now with a throw. It's a late highlight here. Inter are in our penalty area. I thought that was it there. Gula still has the ball. Catalano bothering him, puts it out for a throw. Lovely work there for Catalano, just getting it out, and that is full time. I'll take a draw. I'll take that all day long against Inter Milan away from home. I'll have a bit of a go at the boys, and I'm also going to have to tell Tokic in. No one's had to tell us that wasn't good enough. And Daniel Pitchford, I'm going to shout at him. I think that's him dropped for the time being. He spent a decent amount of money on him. I don't understand what it is about Daniel Pitchford that prevents him from playing well. Because that is apart from that one game there against Sparta Prague, there's a poor run of games that was immediately followed, that had immediately followed a good run of games. So it's about how do we get this form back. He's playing as a complete forward. We've changed nothing in the team, other than this position. I don't think this will have anything to do with it, so I don't know. Anyway, that's for me to figure out in between now and the next episode. Speaking of which, when will we be back? I think we've got to come back around this period here. Do you know what? We'll probably just come back for the 2 Champions League games. Again, the Champions League is the focus of this season. We've won everything else. This is the big one. This is the point of the save. We're looking to become a Champions League winning manager, ideally multiple times, but at least once. Let's come back for these 2 and just cement our place in the next round of the Champions League. That feels like the best plan. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget again to leave a like on there for me. Leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.